Hey, how you doing, Hana?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's a really windy,
Very windy.
cold day.
Yes. Thankfully not raining like yesterday. It was pouring.
Yesterday rained all day, like on and off. Want to just tell the listeners where you're from and maybe what you do?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm originally from Japan. I grew up in this prefecture called Kanagawa, which is right next to Tokyo. And I came to the U.S. about 9 years ago and to Chicago in 2014. So that would be 7 years ago already, yeah.
Yeah.
Time flies.
And you came here for school?
Yeah, yes.
And to study what subject?
Study jazz music specifically for me. Mm-hmm.
And is jazz popular in Japan?
It is actually now. Mm-hmm. It's in a way more popular over there. It's cool music there. It's exotic and cool music that young people like to listen to.
Yeah.
Which is not the case in the U.S. So it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a young person's music choice in America,
Right.
and it's not exotic at all. It's actually very traditional here. It's very old. It's been around for a while.
It is, yeah. It is from here. So
yeah. That's so interesting. Do you know the history of it making its way to Japan and kind of getting into society there?
Yeah. Well, I think it started like a little around the swing era. That's when I came. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I should look into that more. You gave me the idea. Yeah.
Good. What started your path down into jazz? Like, since it's not from there, it's not traditionally Japanese music. What got you into it? Like, what made you want to be a jazz musician and go to school for it?
Right. Well, I was learning an instrument. Not piano, actually. I started an organ as a little kid, 7 years old, 8 years old. My brother was already learning an organ. So when I was born, the organ was already there. Piano was not there. So yeah, I was learning organ, and I was learning electric organ specifically, made by Yamaha, and I was in a competitive organ world in Japan. It's a thing. So yeah, I was doing that, and my teacher showed me a jazz big band to play with an organ. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's when it hit me. Oh my gosh, this is much cooler than classical. At that time, I didn't really understand classical music that much. So that was the big band is rhythmical and very. I don't know. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounded more fun too. Yeah, when I was little.
That must be interesting because it's so normal here that people just associate it with being like old. Like, oh, you listen to jazz, like, what are you, an old person?
Yeah.
And because when I was growing up, my family, no one really listened to it. It was always like just an old person thing.
Yeah.
And I got into it more in the last decade, like in my 20s. Really got into jazz. More specifically, the last few years where I actually would listen to it and study it and try to pay attention more to the different musicians and the producers of the 50s and 60s, you know. What are some of your favorite jazz musicians? Like, who would they be? The people you look up to?
I tend to listen to pianists more. So Oscar Peterson was my first. What's it called? Impression.
Inspiration.
Inspiration.
Yeah.
Yes, I found him, and he's the one that made me really I want to learn jazz piano instead of just an organ. I want to learn like jazz extensively. So Oscar Peterson, Bill Evans, Horace Silver. These are all great jazz pianists.
What about Chet Baker?
Yes, of course, yeah.
Classic.
Yeah, also some big bands like Buddy Rich Big Band, Count Basie, some really old traditional style. That's.
Did you learn or play any traditional Japanese music or classical music?
Little bit, yeah. When we were little in school, they teach us traditional Japanese songs. Yeah, I guess that's something. I noticed American elementary schools. Music is, and they might not notice, but it's swinging, or like the TV series that they watch. Sesame Street, or the songs are swinging, and it's already jazzy.
It is.
So it is jazzy, and when Japanese yeah, we have our TV shows that we grew up with. Yeah, those songs are not swinging. We have our own style. So that's why when I listen to jazz or Sesame Street songs, that was like surprising to me. It's totally different, exotic. Yeah.
Is music a big part of the culture where you grew up? Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
And what were you always interested in coming to America for music?
Not really. No. Yeah, not until high school. Later in high school. I did go to an arts and music high school. So all my classmates played instruments or sang. And some of them, so we had a jazz, like small jazz program there. So yeah, I was playing in a jazz band, small jazz band there. And some of my friends, classmates, were going to the States, going to Berkeley actually. And then that inspired me to, oh man, like I should look into that too. And yeah, without them, I wouldn't be here.
Really?
Yeah, without like someone inspired.
Motivation, inspiration.
Yeah.
It's a big decision to move across the whole world
It is,
for school. How often do you go back?
Not very often. Every couple of years, I would say, yeah.
Is that hard? Like, were you close with your family?
I'm very close, but
it's hard.
yeah, it's hard, especially with COVID. I was supposed to go last year, and that didn't happen. So
yeah, when do you go? When do you plan on going back?
I was planning this winter, and that's not gonna happen again because Japan. It's good to be careful, but yeah, trying to do next summer. I have a nephew and niece that I have not met yet. Yeah.
But have you Zoomed with them?
Yeah.
And have you been to any other parts of the world besides Japan and America? For music or for vacation?
Yeah. I know when I was younger, I went to Australia and South Korea. And I did go to Canada, and I think that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before you moved here for school, you did go to another Western country like Canada or Australia?
Australia, yeah.
Australia?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you come here at 18 years old for college?
Yeah, I was 18, yeah.
So you're 26, 25?
28.
You're 28? So you came here 10 years ago for college?
I guess I was 19 then. 9 years ago. I came to the U.S. 2012. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll be 10 years coming up in the fall is when you started.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to picture a timeline.
Right.
Okay, so you're playing piano. Were you playing any other instruments or just piano?
So I took drum lesson for more than a couple of years actually. Yeah. I was learning drums, and in college I took 1 semester of bass, upright bass. So yeah, like a little bit of that.
Did you like that?
I did actually, yeah.
And so mostly piano.
Mostly piano, yeah. Piano and organ.
Organ.
Yeah.
You're really talented at it. Filming you and watching you play. And then I think you'll be back here like next week with
Yes, yes.
with Olya.
With Olya again, yeah.
How did you two meet?
So we went to school together, and but we're in a different program. I'm in a jazz studies program, and she's in a classical. So we never had a class together. But I guess one time, she's into Japanese culture, and I think she lived in Japan for a little bit. So like our common friends just randomly introduced us. Oh, like, have you guys met? She likes Japan. I'm Japanese. So yeah, that's how.
I could see her just getting right into it.
Yeah.
She's very enthusiastic about Japanese culture.
Yeah, she is, yeah.
I know very little. I mean, I've never been to Japan. I've always wanted to go. It's probably the number one country I want to go.
Oh, really? Okay, that's flattering. Yeah.
No, I'm really intrigued by it. I mean, I think the art that they create there is absolutely beautiful. In general, I think the culture is very interesting, the history. Some of the best engineers in the world as far as mechanics and electronics,
Electronics, yeah.
And even instruments, musical instruments are phenomenal from Japan. And I don't know, it's just such an interesting place, especially the history of it. Like this small island separated from society.
True. Yeah.
It's a very unique history. I mean, do you find that the history of Japan and like the culture of it, it's kind of a part of you? And do you find it strange when you're in America? Like we don't have such a deep, rich traditional history like Japan does. Ours is very strange. Ours is you're part of it. Ours is a bunch of people come here from different places, whereas Japan is no one comes here and everyone is from here and has been here for thousands of years. So it's like completely backwards from our culture.
Very different, yeah.
Do you find that confusing sometimes? Do you find it beautiful? Which one do you prefer?
I can't choose that, you know.
Because you really are part of both.
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Like you're the perfect example of someone who came to America to pursue a dream, just like what America's been built on, air quotes.
Yeah.
But then you also came from a country where it's very old traditional history.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah, I can't say I prefer one, but they are really different, like polar opposite.
Yeah.
Culture. Yeah, I have to say, you know, we in Japan's gonna be always my home for sure, and nothing is better than home. But I love America. You know, that they provide me all the opportunities to study music and play music, and so yeah.
Are you a citizen? Have you become a citizen here?
No, I'm here with a visa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to? Do you plan on doing something like that? It's hard, right?
It's hard, yeah.
Time consuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That too, and I think it's gonna be complicated. I don't think I'm allowed to have a dual citizenship. So if I want to be an American citizen, I'm gonna have to give up the Japanese citizenship.
Wow.
So
I've heard that citizenship is very hard to obtain. Japanese one.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Like I could never become a Japanese citizen, right? Or would have to live there for a long time. I don't know how it works, but I've heard it's challenging as an American or anybody who's an outsider.
Oh, really? I didn't know. I don't know the other side.
Yeah, you're from there. You're like, I don't have to worry about it.
But,
so you study at Roosevelt Jazz, and then what happens after that when you finish there?
Yeah, and I went on to get a master's degree at Northwestern University, and I also studied jazz there, more jazz there. Yeah.
And how did you find the undergrad jazz studies versus the graduate studies? Like, what changed? How much more in depth? Did you have a specific focus? What was it like going from one to the other? Because it's the same city. One is Roosevelt in Chicago. I mean, Northwestern's in Evanston, but it's still in Chicagoland area.
Right.
So not much changes fully there. I guess the vibe is different. It's a much more prestigious university.
It is. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Which we talked about briefly.
Yeah.
And we kind of had some jokes to say about it.
Yeah, no, I liked both. I liked studying at both schools, and very different. I guess I really liked both in different ways. Yeah, Roosevelt, I stayed in the music circles. I only had friends from music programs. And at Northwestern, I got to hang out with a lot of people from other majors.
Yeah.
Because I was studying music. I was in the music school, but I was involved in different organizations. So I was in international, it was called GISA, Graduate International Student Association. And I was a president, actually.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah. So I got to organize all the events for international students. And there I got to meet a lot of people from different cultures, different countries, different programs. So I spent a lot of time there. So that was that was bigger part of the experience, grad school life, and that I really enjoyed. Yeah,
it is very different. Grad school is, for those who may not have gone through it, it's a very different educational experience. So much more is on you.
Right.
You're kind of in charge of it. You're treated much more as an adult. It's much more mature educational experience. It's a lot harder because of that.
Yeah.
And you can't really get away with anything. A lot more is expected of you. You know.
Right.
Did you know the musician, or do you know the musician Thaddeus Tukes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was just on a couple weeks ago.
I think I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, because he went to Northwestern for jazz. So I was thinking about, did you guys ever cross paths? It might have been different years.
Different years, yeah.
Because he also did undergrad and you did graduate. So.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a great musician.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I need to get all the best musicians I know together to create a supergroup band. All these jazz musicians. It's so cool.
That'd be great, yeah.
So after graduate school, this is a couple years ago, do you just start giving lessons? Do you tour? What goes on in your music life professionally?
Right. Let's see. Right after that, I got a teaching job. I guess I wanted to try out. Yeah, I've never taught before, and I wasn't confident with my English enough to explain things to others. But I tried out, and it's been going on for a couple of years now, and I really like it now. Yeah.
So that what you have to do later today is part of that teaching
Yeah.
on Zoom?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you teach at a school at all, or you just
I
teach
do.
on private? Okay.
Yeah, I do both. Yeah, I
Both.
teach Zoom lessons and also go to school to teach everyone wearing the mask and 6 feet apart. And
Is it
all
a
that.
high school or a college?
I teach at 2 different schools. One is a college. The other one is more like after school piano. Like kids come to take private piano lessons, kind of
Okay.
thing. Yeah,
And you play in different groups.
I do. Yeah,
How many?
a lot of them.
It seems like a lot.
Yeah, a lot of them. Some like a couple of regular ones, and then a lot of non-regular ones, like some projects that pop up, and yeah.
So how many would you say you're currently playing in?
So the regular ones, I'd say 3. 3 that I'm like official member of.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe 4. Yeah. Yeah, 4.
I love how you don't even know. You're like, how many bands do I play in?
Yeah.
Which one do you enjoy playing the most? Not that it's better than the other
Yeah.
ones, but which one do you get the most out of?
Let's see. I have different phase too, so it's hard to pick one. And every band has totally different tastes. None of them are even like similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. One is Samba, Brazilian music. Another one is Cuban music, more like Montino and like salsa music. And two others are more like rock and blues music, and then the other one is gonna be the J-pop cover band with Olya.
Yes,
Yeah,
I know that one.
Yeah. So everything. Yeah, I did enjoy all of them. Yeah, I'm not just saying, but I really, if I didn't enjoy, I wouldn't stay.
Yeah. It's interesting because I'm also in a bunch of bands currently, and they're all pretty different.
Yeah.
And you realize through playing in a different bands, going to a bunch of different concerts and listening to a bunch of different music, how wonderful like the music palette can get for you as a musician. I think it's really naive and detrimental to your creativity to narrow yourself to just a couple of genres and stay within like 1 or 2 lanes.
Right.
I think it's good to expand out and like you were saying, you're playing Brazilian music and Cuban music and blues music and J-pop covers, like a bunch of different stuff. I think it's really,
I love it.
really great. It helps you hone in on your craft and understand a bunch of different techniques and styles.
Yeah.
And also, when you play as much music as you do, it kind of makes it less boring. Like if all you were doing were playing Brazilian music day in and day out, you'd be like, you might start to resent it or get a little bored.
Right. Yeah, I like the balance that I have. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I work with different people with all these bands too. So
Lots of cool musicians and stuff.
yeah, from different culture too. The Samba band is all Brazilian musicians. So it's very interesting to meet different culture. Yeah.
So you work mostly evenings?
Yes. Yeah.
That's why you're here right now in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah. I know it's the unfortunate thing about the musician's lifestyle. It's so much of it is the evening. Maybe teach a little bit during the day and then you play music all night.
I'm fortunate for you because you're a morning person.
I'm a morning person.
I'm not.
Yeah.
So lucky for me.
But it catches up with you. Like, what if you ever want to have an air quotes normal life? Like, if you had like a kid, you couldn't do it.
Right.
Then it's like you can't be up all night playing music.
Yeah.
That's the thing that bothers me and scares me. I'm like, man, because I used to love that lifestyle, but then getting more daylight on my skin and in my eyes like helps a lot with the winter. The winter here is so hard,
yeah.
And I just want more daylight. So I like feel the need to wake up early. But I also love playing shows and staying out kind of late. They're both fun. But you're not a morning person at all?
I'm not.
You never have been?
No, all my life. Like as a kid, I hated waking up to go to school. So it's my schedule was kind of like my dream as a kid.
Yeah.
I wish I could have just slept in in the morning, and that's what I do. Sleep in the morning, work in the night.
What time do you tend to get up?
9, 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I usually get up around 6:30. 7.
Oh yeah.
I love watching the sunrise. It's quiet. It's peaceful. You're like, I don't know.
Once a week I do that. I play at a church on Sundays.
Okay.
So whenever I do, I feel great, but also I value my sleep a lot.
So you're busy.
Yeah.
You pretty much work every single day, huh?
Yeah. I don't really have days off. Like have a half day off a lot, but I never have a complete day off.
But that's so. Correct me if I'm wrong. That comes with the territory of being an artist and musician because you probably enjoy almost most of the music related stuff you do, right? So because you enjoy it, it doesn't feel like traditional work.
No.
Right?
No.
Like you've probably had a crappy job before.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Maybe. Not everybody has, but I certainly have.
Yeah.
So compared to those jobs, when you're just like, hey, we're going to go play at this venue and someone's going to pay us. I'm hanging out with my friends. Playing an instrument I've loved my whole life, studied. I know in and out. I know backwards and forward. And I get to have a beer. I get to go get food with my friends.
Yes.
I'm doing what I want.
I love that part. Yes.
Yeah, the beer part, yeah. And then like it just doesn't seem, it definitely is work and you deserve to be paid, but it's not the type of work that makes you resent it and kind of hate it. So for those I know that don't have those types of jobs or not in that line of work, which is okay, they love their days off. They like look forward to the Saturday, Sunday. And to me, it's become a blur to where it almost feels like 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday. It's just a way to organize time, but every day to me is the same day because I'm doing a podcast right now with you. Then I have to edit this afternoon. Then I have another podcast tonight.
Oh, okay.
And then I have, like, I'm going to edit videos tomorrow. Then I have band practice tomorrow. Then I have band practice again on Wednesday. And then I have a session on Wednesday. So it's just it's all music and like audio and editing and talking. And it's work. It takes time. I have to focus and be diligent and particular with everything I do, but it's not the same as like Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, I sit and have to do a certain job for someone else to make money off me. Whereas you're in charge of your craft, you're in charge of your life, your income, you kind of decide it. But it comes at a cost because a lot of it is freelance. So you, as long as you keep putting in the work, you can build it and get more, but you can't just sit still.
Right.
A paycheck will not come in. You have to keep moving.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's bittersweet, but do you like this? Do you want to go into a more steady and stable musical career, or do you like just chaos all the time?
Chaos. I love the chaos.
It's because you're 28. That's why. Wait till you're 38.
Oh, no.
I mean, I'm about to be 32 next week.
That's not old at all.
I know,
no.
but I could tell, like, there's no way you could sustain this forever.
I can see that. I can.
If you can, if you're like single and don't have kids.
Sure.
But as soon as you want to have like a serious relationship or children, you can't just be living whatever you want. You can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna do this Sunday. I'm gonna play piano for this church, and then Monday I'll do this, and I'll take that gig. Like as soon as there's responsibilities besides your own, you have to like rethink your everything, right?
But I also work with a lot of older musicians who have kids and they still do it.
They still do it? They probably can't do it as much as you can, though. Or if they do, maybe one of their partner has to compromise and be around more for the kid.
Right.
That's probably the only way to do it.
Yeah, someone with a similar schedule as mine. Yeah, like I know this couple who has like 5-year-old boy, very cute. But yeah, one is a musician, so he works in the evening, but he has all the morning. So yeah, he takes care of the baby in the morning, and then the mom has 9 to 5, so she comes back in the morning, in the evening. So like they don't see each other too much, but
that's the thing. If something suffers, there's a triangle. There's yourself, there's your partner, and there's the kid, and not all three can get the same amount of attention. There's not enough time in the day. So one of them is going to suffer. It could be yourself. Maybe you can't practice as often.
Sure.
Maybe instead of playing, like how many gigs a week do you play?
3 to 4.
3 to 4. Yeah. So maybe you can't do 4 anymore. Maybe you have to do 2. Stuff like that.
Sure.
Just little things. You're still going to be a musician playing. You just might not be at that level when you're in your 20s, when you can, and you're not sleeping until 10.
Right.
If you have a kid to watch in the morning.
Yeah.
So maybe you can get home at 1 a.m. still after you've had a couple beers, but now you have to wake up at 6:30 for that kid to get him to school or her to school.
Yes. I do that once a week now for Sunday, the church thing.
What time do you have to wake up on Sundays?
Let's see. Yeah, around 6. 6 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah. And how many services do you play for?
Just one.
Just one.
But I'm also a choir director there, so we rehearse before the service. Wow. So, yeah.
Wait, so let's go through the list of everything you do, because you keep throwing stuff on top. And I'm like, wait, you do that too? Choir director.
And also I play the organ.
So you play the organ and piano at the church,
yes.
and you're the choir director.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is that all one job, or are they two separate jobs?
I work with the same people, but in the morning I rehearse with the choir and then I could go walk over to the organ and play for the service.
So they're two separate things.
Yeah, same service. But
same service, two separate jobs.
Yeah, two instruments, same service.
Okay.
I walk over to piano and organ.
That's a busy Sunday.
Yeah.
What time does that end?
The service itself is 1 hour, 9:30 to 10:30. Mm-hmm. And we rehearse 1 hour before, so 8:30 to 9:30.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but everything's done by, before 11. So I have the whole afternoon to myself. So not too bad.
It brings you back to my childhood. A lot of church services. So I'm fully aware of that situation.
Yes.
Yeah. And is it just a job, or is it a church you also attend?
It's a job. It's a job for me.
Job,
yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm not a member, but yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You didn't strike me as someone that would be at that church. Any church that is going to have an organ. It's what, is it a Catholic church or a Protestant church?
Protestant, yeah. It's a United Church. Mm-hmm.
I figured it would be, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you play in 4 bands, and then you give lessons at a school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At 2 schools.
2 schools. 3 schools, actually.
3 schools. And then you give lessons through Zoom.
Through Zoom.
Private ones.
Private one, yeah. And,
wow.
Yeah. And one of the schools I also teach choir. At a college. I'm a piano teacher and also choir teacher.
Which college? Do you mind me asking?
It's called Harold Washington.
Oh, I know
College.
Harold Washington.
Yeah.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. I used to always get off that orange line at Harold Washington State in Van Buren. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Going to school, Columbia and the Art Institute.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's right there. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Wow. So, yeah, you're busy. I noticed because when I look at your Instagram photos or stories, every day it's like another piano in another place. I'm like, where are you now? It's like another location, another angle, just every time you post something, it's like a whole nother thing. It's a lot.
I also do a lot of private events, weddings, and so yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Do you enjoy the private ones?
I actually do. I know a lot of people hate it.
Yeah.
So I don't like to say it, but I actually enjoy it.
I've been a part of that scenario a lot. Okay. I've either helped to put on events or film them. So I know that whole life now. It's really weird. It's a really strange life because you're I don't know. You can get paid really well. You can get the free food. Mm-hmm. You're kind of not a guest, but you're also not working it. You're kind of in this weird gray area where they're okay, go hang out over there. We'll call you when you're ready. The wedding planner's running around yelling at stuff, and you're just kind of I guess I'm just playing music here because I've helped do sound for bands for them. So it's an interesting experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, it always pays very well.
Yeah,
they're some of the best paying jobs.
Not for sure. It helps with my rent, so I don't complain about that.
When people talk crap about a wedding gig, it's they're the best paying gigs. Go play at a dive bar and you'll make no money.
Right.
Go play at a wedding and they'll give you $500 for an hour or 2.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to not do it when you need the money, and it's just that much more of musical connections, professional connections. Meeting more people, meeting other musicians.
Right.
Because if you're playing at a wedding, chances are you're probably going to meet other musicians there too, and that could be more of a circle to grow. And
definitely.
Do you have a specific job out of the 50 jobs that you do? Is there one that you I wish I could just do this part of it for the rest of my life?
Oh, no.
Or just a little bit of, you like all of it?
I like all of it, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't have to have all, but I can have one job, that for sure. I cannot have one job, 9 to 5 job, doing the same thing every day. That's not my thing.
That's not my thing either. No, That's why I'm here right now at 11 talking to you while everyone else is at work. Because it's not for me.
No.
I just can't. It doesn't make sense. It seems really irritating and it's unnatural. I think humans we're designed to do a bunch of different things and to always learn. Because with what you do, you're always learning. Something's always changing. It's not always quite the same. You'll have a new student who brings new information to you. You'll play at a new venue or have a new band or a new band member. It doesn't really matter. Something's always changing.
Right.
And I don't know, to me that's inspiring to always have change in your work and to enjoy it. But doing the same mundane thing over and over again.
I knew it since I was in like elementary school. Like I can't wait to become an adult and have my own schedule. And so this style is my calling. Yeah.
Did you envision this? Like,
I did. I guess I did.
You did? You manifested it yourself, huh?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
When did you start realizing like this is how I'm going to do it? I'm just going to juggle 20 things at once, but at my own. Like dispense my own leisure. It's my own decision. You can turn down gigs if you want. You can say yes to more gigs if you want.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
When did that start happening? When you're like, this is what I'm going to do and I'm going to make sure I do this.
Well, I guess something really certain is little after college.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like in college, I still wanted to be steady, somewhat steady. You know, should I have a gig? Should I have a job?
Yeah.
And yeah, can I really make it as a musician? Like, do I make enough money? And then, yeah, it happens to be, I'm all right this way, you know, like I'm pretty steady. So yeah, then I switched into this lifestyle more. Yeah, before I used to say yes to every single gig. You know, anything I can take. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a wild time. I finally got to where I can like be more particular with my gigs,
Same,
and I could say yes and no to stuff.
Yes.
And the ones that do come your way are like that much better. You know, the ones that you get to say yes to are like really great. But it's a scary place when you. Not that you have to say yes to every gig, but when you feel like if I don't, I won't have food or I won't be able to pay rent.
Yeah,
so it can be quite stressful and then overwhelming. Before you know it, you're doing 20 things a day and you've no time for yourself, no personal life.
Nope.
Right? I'm just now starting to have a personal life. It took COVID for me to like realize I should probably like take care of myself and like hang out with people and socialize again. Because I would just work day in, day out. I would just from sun up to sundown, and I wasn't taking care of myself or my health or anything, you know. So it's hard, but it's you're probably got that workaholic gene. I know I certainly do. Some people do.
Yeah.
Some people don't. And I don't know how to fully prove it, but what I think it is, or why I think I might have it and why someone like you might have it based on what you told me. First of all, I can relate to that mindset. I'm giving you a hard time, but I actually relate to what you're talking about. When you talk to a lot of different people, and this is not a slight towards anybody. This is not a bad thing. In fact, sometimes I'm envious of those who can relax and take a breather and not always be like overthinking and wanting to keep doing stuff. When you ask them like what do they do for fun or what are they doing? They seem so at peace. They're so calm. Like, yeah, after work, I'm gonna go hang out and do this thing and then watch that, and then I go like, well, what after that? And they're like, I don't know, watch a movie and go to bed. And I'm just thinking like, but you got to do this email and edit that and talk to this person and book that and set up this fest and a lot of people just don't go to those places. They don't. They don't wake up and their mind isn't racing about all these different things they have to do today. They kind of are just like, yeah, I don't know. I woke up, made coffee. put on music or sports radio or a podcast, went to work, and that's fine. And then sometimes I'm jealous. I'm like, I can't do that. I can't think that way. I instantly woke up this morning at 6:30, going through my emails and trying to figure out like how to schedule this event, this one music fest I'm working on, another one, this podcast, all these different things. I'm like, I have to text her at some point and be like, do you want coffee? I got to think of when she's going to be here. Clean up the room. And yeah, I don't know. Like you seem like you're kind of, you kind of are similar where you just like are trying to plan all these things. You have all these lessons. You have to perform.
Right. Yeah, but same for me. COVID kind of taught me something. You know, I used to again like that's how I started saying no to certain things.
Yes.
And yeah, since I started teaching at home, a couple days a week I get to work from home, and it's a blessing. You know, I just finish the lesson and I just relax at home. Playing piano, or sometimes I watch a movie like regular people. Yeah.
I could be regular too, I promise. Yeah. What have you been watching lately?
Let's see. I've been watching some Japanese shows. Yeah.
Which ones?
Japanese TV shows. Let's see. There's one about these lawyers. It's called Legal High. That's the name of the TV show. Yeah.
Never heard of it. I don't really know any Japanese
I don't
TV.
think so.
Yeah, COVID really slowed things down because everything stopped. I mean, how did you get through it?
Yeah,
all that stuff stopped.
Yeah, I became a full-time teacher then. I was still making music, writing music, playing music, record or something just by myself, post somewhere, like doing something creative. Not as a job, but just for fun. I was trying to continue playing and create something. But job-wise, I was a full-time teacher. I took more students. Actually, I gained more students during COVID, which is weird. People were bored and they started taking lessons. So I pick up more students. One time I had almost 60 students.
60?
50, 60 around there.
Individual students?
Yep.
Like individual lessons?
Lessons, yeah. Well, yeah, I'll teach a lot of kids, so some lessons are short, like 30 minutes. So it's not 60 hours. But
Yeah. So do you find all of that teaching helps get your musical abilities stronger because you're always reiterating how to do certain things?
Definitely, yeah. When I came here, I was really insecure about my speaking ability, and I never learned how to explain my music. I always learned how to play and different music theory, but I never was about that, explaining things. So it was challenging at first.
Yeah.
And I teach all ages too, like typical. And I teach from 5-year-old to I think the oldest was like 70.
Wow.
There was
What is it like teaching a 5-year-old their mind versus a 70-year-old person their mind? Like, what do you have to go about it the same way? Is it the same approach?
Very different. It's like a different job. 5-year-old, I'm teaching how the very basic of music. Sometimes, some 5 years old, they can't focus, so I teach them how to behave, how to, just sit still. I start from there.
Sit upright, breathe.
Yeah, yes.
Keep
Carve
your
your
hands on the
fingers,
piano.
Just hold 30 minutes of that. Just carve your fingers. No, not like that. Not like that.
Really? You're like a babysitter.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, like some people hate it, but I kind of enjoy. I enjoy having everything different. I cannot do that full time for sure, but I took it as a leisure time. I hang out with the kids and
Yeah. And then what about a 70-year-old? What is it like teaching them?
Oh yeah, she was she used to take piano lesson before, and she wanted to pick up again. So it was easier for her. She knew how to read music, and she was passionate about it. It was a hard choice to. Yeah, definitely learn the piano again after retiring. So,
what about with someone who's older who has no experience before, no previous experience? What is it like teaching someone? Have you experienced that before? Like in their 50s or 60s that just wants to pick up a hobby?
Let's see, someone like around 40.
40?
Yeah, 30, 40, yeah.
Because their mind is so different. It's
Very
already
different.
been formed and shaped, and their perception of pitch and music is different from 5 years old. That's got to be hard.
Yeah, very different approach for sure. Yeah,
You don't have to discipline them with their
right. No discipline.
behave.
Yeah. No, like that. Yeah. But sometimes, their brain goes crazy, and some students get really frustrated. So sometimes I take care of that. Okay, so or they play something, and oh my gosh, that sounded terrible, and then that's not how you approach music. No.
Yeah, they're able to be more self-critical because they're so mature and so much older. They've been through a lot, so they can be that much harder on themselves. When you're 5 or 6 or 7. Being self-critical goes out the window real quick. You could be pouty and mad, and then you can just instantly be okay with it. I don't know. It's like you don't have much to weigh it against. Every experience is so new.
Oh yeah, yeah. Most of the little kids are excited to come to lessons. Yeah, there are some of them that the parents force them to, and not very excited.
Yeah,
but,
they resent their parents.
Yeah.
It's a punishment. Do you see the spark in a kid when you know they're going to have a lifelong career in this? Like, they're going to be really good? They have a natural ability? And do you see, they're not going to keep up with it?
Yeah, definitely see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, music lesson is not everyone takes music lesson to become a professional.
Right.
But it's really good for brains. I really think everyone should take at least one instrument,
I
learn an
agree.
instrument. Just, it might become hobby, but...
It's like learning another language. It's
Yeah.
like learning a physical, rhythmic, melodic, and pitch recognition of a language. It helps you really get into, I don't know, I think just thinking more critically and having a better relationship with sound as a person. And emotionally, music is it evokes so much emotion. So I think it's really healthy for that too. What age would you recommend someone starts to take piano lessons?
I guess about 7, 8 years old. That's when we can.
You started at 7?
7, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about those who start at like 5 or 6? That's too early, you think?
So I was in like music class at 5 years old, and it was we didn't learn music. It was about clapping hands and like have fun, make friends. So in that sense, 5 years old, totally fine to just get used to listening to music and play music with others.
Become comfortable with
Comfortable
it.
with it. Yes.
But is it like the hands and the body's not big enough yet?
Right.
That's the problem.
It is.
But then with violin, kids can start at like 4 or
really?
5 because their hands are so small, right?
Yeah.
Because I've heard a lot of violin players starting at between like 3 and 5 years old. Like Olya started at 5.
Really? Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that makes sense? That if their hands are small enough, it's easier at a younger age?
For violin, I guess
That makes sense, right?
The way it's made. Yeah, I guess Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, just the violin's all about
that.
Yeah.
I know nothing about violin, or I'm so bad with like fretless instruments. You know, like I'm so used to guitar and bass having frets that playing like a cello. I mean, I want to. It's a goal of mine to learn cello.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it would help a lot with dexterity, pitch recognition, and just having another way of playing an instrument. I'm not like using both hands, one on a bow.
Right.
But I don't have time for it right now. But eventually, maybe I'll be that 40-year-old who's having lessons with someone.
Yeah, always, yeah.
Well, I should take lessons with you. I should become a better piano player.
Piano, definitely.
I'm so bad at it. I had to take a little bit of piano in college. I took a couple music theory courses.
Yeah.
But I never really took to it. I don't know.
The piano is the easiest one to pick up later. Yeah.
Well, they're actually pretty heavy to pick up.
Good one, Ben.
Oh, God.
You can get a smaller piano, like a
little synthesizer?
Yeah, synthesizer.
Do you ever play any synthesizers?
I do, yeah.
Which ones do you play? Do you have one?
I do, yeah.
Which one? Do you know?
I have a couple. One is called MX61, Yamaha. The other one is, I forgot the name, but it's a, what keytar is? Yeah, it's a keytar style, like a small keytar style.
Of course you have a keytar.
Yeah. But small one, like it's red and it's by Yamaha.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you know the microkorg? That's a pretty classic one.
I know what. Yeah. Yes. I also have a melodica.
Oh,
the
nice.
One without, yes.
Those are so goofy, but they're so fun.
I know.
But they're kind of
I
like dorky.
It's very,
I have one too. What is the keyboard you played when you brought in?
MX61.
Okay, that's
the
the
one.
MX61. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you write a lot of your own music, or do you just play a lot of traditional pieces and play in bands and teach, or do you actually write your own original music too?
I do. But I used to do it more. Now I don't have enough time to do that as much as I should. But yeah, I definitely write.
Did you record any of it?
In college, back in college, or during grad school, I did like some projects, but not after that. I really want to though. That's my goal too.
You should.
Yeah.
It's very common that a lot of traditional musicians or classically trained musicians don't write their own music.
Right.
They become super proficient and excellent at playing other people's music that was written on sheet music. They could read it and they could apply it, and they're amazing. But then you tell them, write your own song, and they're like, I don't even know. They don't do it. I had this very conversation, this exact same conversation with Olya about it, and she was like, yeah, I agree. For some reason, you put all this effort into learning other people's music and how to be like the best at it that you can't even figure out how to do it yourself.
It's either one. Yeah, it came in the opposite order for me. I started improvising as a kid. I started writing songs as a kid, and later on, I finally took classical piano lesson in high school. Yeah, not until high school. But then that's when my teacher told me, okay, you have to be exact. You cannot change anything. I used to think I'll change a little bit,
like kind of improv within the sheet music.
Sure. Yeah.
And why is it a rule that you have to be exact? Is that so everyone else around you can also be together, since you're working with other people?
it's classical music is more about respecting the composer's intention.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, there's usually a story behind the piece. Like Chopin came from this era of the revolution, and a lot of songs was about that. So you have to research the song, and you should have that emotion. Like think about that views, and like he really taught me a lot of things, and I really learned a lot from that. Just research the song and play, just think of how composer thought of that song. And that's different from jazz or improvising music. It's more about myself, how I would take this song. How can I relate to the song, and what kind of a story I can come up with.
Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer playing someone else's written music to perfection, or do you prefer your own improv work? Like, do you just making up music on the spot? Which one makes you feel more fulfillment?
I have a different pace. Yeah, I want to say that I like to improvise a lot, but I really enjoy playing classical music too. Actually, and piano is such a really delicate instrument. Whenever I play acoustic grand piano, the way you touch the piano, everything, how you breathe, everything affects the sound. So I really like sometimes, just sit on the grand piano, looking at the Chopin or Debussy music, and just play really beautifully. That's something. Yeah, I also enjoy that.
Chopin's wonderful.
Yeah.
I used to love falling asleep to his music. I always would put it on. There's one of these songs, I never know the name of it because it'll say B flat minor, B flat major. That's what the name of the songs will be.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and I'm just I don't know the name of the song, but it's a song that's in B major, and it's just so beautiful. It's very epic and inspirational sounding. Very beautiful pianist. Do you compose any music?
Yeah.
Like write down on sheet music for others to play? Have you
Not
ever
for
done that?
others, mostly just for myself.
For you?
Yeah. I've written for an ensemble.
Okay.
But my ensemble to play. I play, and everyone's gonna play with me. Not for not for someone else completely.
And when you play in the other bands that you're part of, is that more improvisation? The Brazilian one and the Cuban one?
Yeah. Well, we play a certain song, but then we go into improvisation, and that's...
Yeah. I'm way more of an improv person.
Yeah, I can
love
see
it.
that definitely. Yeah.
Well, why do you say that?
I don't think you want to do something exactly
No,
as
I don't
told,
like being told what to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Especially with my creativity.
Yeah, I didn't get to that phase until really later. And classical too. Yeah, as a kid, I didn't hate it, but I definitely didn't like practicing classical. And I didn't enjoy listening to. I wanted to listen to something louder, something more rhythmic, like jazz, and But then later, it kind of it's something that hits you. Oh man, classical music is really beautiful. Once you understand it, so.
Yeah, I think it. For me personally, I can't speak for another musician, but I enjoyed it in high school a little bit, just putting on here and there because it was so new to me. I didn't listen to it as a kid.
Right.
And then I kind of got over it, just like classic rock. I'm I heard this too much.
Yeah.
I need to take a break from the Beatles and Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd. They're not bad. It's just I'm just tired of hearing the same rock and roll. And now you come back to it 10 years later, and you're like, okay, now I remember why I like this to begin with. But that's where I'm at with classical music now, because I have some classic vinyls that I put on, but I could see where jazz is stemming from it, and I personally like jazz a lot because of the improvisation. I'm really a big fan of in the moment, express yourself.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? Take that energy and utilize it.
Yeah, that's how we started. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bebop era.
Exactly.
That's all improvisation, all the frustration, and
it's a wild feeling to just sit there, and you have a drummer or bass player that are kind of loosely following something, and you just go for it.
Yeah.
You're speaking in the moment. It's I don't know, it's beautiful. It's a form of poetry without using your mouth.
I love that.
Yeah, it's really exciting. It's nerve-wracking. You're sweating because you're I don't know what the next move is. I'm feeling it. And that's why I love, music theory is so helpful but also it could be such a crutch because some people heavily rely on it. And I think it's important to learn it as much as you can. At least learn like your key signatures, time signatures. And then it's like riding a bike. Once you learn it, then you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
And then just have fun in that moment.
Yes,
and you don't have to sit there going like, I don't know if I should hit this C sharp. I don't know if it works. It's like hit some accidental notes, hit some leading tones. Like just hit the wrong note because it's the right note in that moment. You know?
Yeah, you can make it right.
Make it right.
Yes. But yeah, I've been to that phase too. When I was in college, when I was learning music theory and how to improvise, it's about the scales and But yeah, like once you get out of that phase and just do whatever and hit whatever the notes and make it right.
That's funny.
It's really fun. Yeah.
It's like a philosophical thing to hit the wrong note and make it right.
Yeah.
It's really hard to convey what that actually means unless you've been there and had to do it before.
Yeah.
You know, like try to put words to what that is. You're deliberately hitting the wrong note so you can make it the right one.
Oh yeah.
You're like, huh?
Yeah, I got a master's in jazz. We've done all these experiments.
You're like,
Yeah.
I've done that, been there, done that. Yeah, it's fun. I just don't have enough people to talk to about it. You know, I'm just getting that out right now because you're an expert.
Yes.
Isn't it weird to be called an expert or a professional? It's almost strange when someone says it to you. You're like, me? I'm not that person, but you are. You just don't realize it. I don't know. Maybe it's because of being young. You know, you're only 28 years old, but you're very successful with music.
Also, there's no definition to being a professional.
Exactly.
It's not like I have a certificate. You know,
Well, when you're a kid
Yeah.
and or even a teenager, and you hear people say like, "Oh, that's a professional. That's a scholar. That's an expert." You don't know what it means to get to that, but you're like, okay, well, yeah, that person looks like they're older and they went to school, so like they must be that. But
right.
when you are that, like now we are that.
Yeah.
We have the degrees, we have the work experience, we are paid to do the job that people consider us professionals at. But for some reason, when you are living it in reality, in that moment, you're like, that's not me. I'm not the professional.
It's
I'm
also,
trying to figure this out still.
It's also hard, weird to define that.
Exactly.
And I have like a student that asks me that, like a little kid, and I play something, and like, wow, are you professional? Are you a professional? It's like, and that's something. People never ask that, but
Yeah.
are you a professional? And it's like, yeah, I guess I am professional.
What is a professional? Like, what is the definition?
Exactly.
Isn't it someone who is proficient in their task and is paid to do that task? Like others hire them to do it because they're the best at it. At least that person knows that they're the best at it. Yeah. I don't know what makes an expert professional, but
also like who decides that, yourself or?
I think others do.
Others do. Okay.
I think others have to bestow that upon you. They have to be like, oh yeah, because I've never really considered myself a professional in anything, but I've heard others say it so much that I'm like, I guess I am. Like, if I'm told that over and over again, then you must be. And when you teach it, I think that starts to make you kind of a professional. If you're the one that they're hiring to teach you how to do something, like then you're the one that is the best at it because like that's what you're there for. Yeah. It's just weird when you live it. When it's you yourself, because you're probably thinking like, I still want to learn from other professionals.
Yeah,
and that's how I am too. I'm
exactly,
like, I want to keep. So how could I be one if I'm still trying to learn from others?
Yeah,
but I think that's what makes a good teacher, a good expert, is someone who knows they don't know everything and they will never stop learning, and they should constantly learn from those before them, and even those younger. Like, do you ever learn from younger students? Like something you didn't think you would learn, like, oh, I never thought about that way. Maybe they asked a great question, and you're like, that's a good way to look at it.
A lot, like,
right.
Pretty much every day.
I think that's the best part about being an educator is you get to learn from younger people your age, and older people. If you work at a university and you have other faculty that are like experts in their field, and you get to learn from some of the top tier professionals in that related field, so it's like a really cool experience. You get to constantly learn from a kid who might have asked you a question, and if you're an arrogant adult, you might be like, well, I can't learn anything from this kid, like screw this kid. But I don't think that's wise. I think it's good to be like, wow, you caught me off guard, I never thought about it that way, and that's a good point. I'm going to use that and like figure out what you mean by that. You know, admitting you don't have the answer. You know.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I do that a lot. Like, good question. What do you think? You know. Like,
yeah. Instead of getting embarrassed, like, oh, I don't know that, you should be like, that's a good point. That's for me to reflect on, and let's try to figure it out together. You know. You know, try to think of what that can mean.
Yeah. Actually, like something really sparkling happened during the choir class last week. Yes, something about we were learning this like Japanese pop song because of course I bring Japanese pop song in the choir class in America.
Wait, is this the church choir?
No, it's the choir class that I teach at a college. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I never. We were learning. Actually, one of my students brought that. It's a song written by half Japanese, half American singer. So yes, the song is in English, and it's just regular. It sounded like a regular American pop song, but then one of the others, like other students, pointed out like it kind of has the Japanese traditional like scale, it's like sound to it. And then we actually learned about Japanese traditional harmony, of course, because I'm teaching that class. So then they brought that up. Like it's not the one like you showed me at the beginning of the class, and then I never like relate to that, that and then the pop song that we were learning. And then we did some analysis of that song, and I was like, wow, you're right. It has it does use the same harmony as the traditional Japanese song, and that was like boom to me.
Yeah, eureka moment.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah,
that's good though. I mean, I think it's important for teachers to do that, because to be a good teacher, you have to always be growing and learning from your students. They bring, like you have your own knowledge and experience, but you're one person. But if you have 60 students, that's 60 brains, 60 minds, and 60 different experiences to help you like grow as an educator. And that's why some of the best teachers, they've been doing it for 30 years, and they're so good at explaining something, how to relate, they're patient. And then you'll get those that kind of hated it, and they probably never should have been a teacher, and they resent you.
It's It's hard to be a good teacher. I want them to like me, but also it's okay if they don't. It's more important that they learn how to play music than liking me. So
Have you toured a lot as a musician?
Some. I've done. Yeah, actually, this summer, one of the band did a little tour to Atlanta.
Oh,
so
cool.
We did a little, like a weekend tour.
That's fun. Have you played in Europe at all?
No, I've never been to Europe yet.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
I want to go so bad.
I know, me too.
I would love to play music there too. Play music and record there. That's the goal. That was my goal, but COVID kind of stopped all travel,
But also, it made me realize, I want to travel. Like, before, traveling wasn't my passion. I'm okay here, just staying in that one city and playing. But then COVID, I don't know, I guess, I want people want to have what they don't have. And once I don't have access to the airport or like other countries, like, how I wonder, I wonder how it is like to travel.
You take it for granted.
Yeah.
When it was stopped.
Yeah. Yeah. Japan. Yeah. I really wanted to go, but a couple of days ago they just decided to quarantine. If you go there, I have to quarantine for 2 weeks. So I could do 1 week, but 2 weeks, I'm usually there for 2 weeks or 3 weeks to visit. So I can't.
That's too hard.
Yeah, it's
that's hard.
Yeah.
And did you go all around Japan growing up? Like, would you travel around the whole country often?
Not often. Yeah, I was only there until 18. So pretty much. Yeah.
You stayed around.
Stay around my area.
Tokyo a lot.
Yeah, Tokyo. Yeah.
What is Tokyo like?
No.
crazy.
Crazy, yeah. Like growing up, I never realized it was crazy. It
Yeah.
was my norm. Just seeing that much people every day, every single day. I never felt it was weird.
It's a lot of people.
Packed tray, and like those that people post on YouTube, like crazy view in Tokyo, and that was my everyday life. And I never realized it was weird until I saw that on YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube, and people commenting on that stuff. Wow, that's crazy. It's a different world.
It's it's one of the biggest cities in the world, most populated.
It is, yeah.
I mean, have you been to New York City?
Yeah.
Because that's pretty packed for America. It's probably the most packed city for American standards. But Chicago's not that bad. Like, it could be a little busy, but compared to a lot of countries in like China and Malaysia, Indonesia, Japan, South Korea, like some of these countries have such big cities.
Yeah.
India,
it's crazy.
so packed. Chicago's so small compared to that.
Yeah.
So you like it here a lot. You never wanted to live anywhere else in America to play music. This is a good music city.
Yeah, I like Chicago a lot. Yeah, actually, my first 2 years in the States was in Tennessee.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Why there?
For school, first 2 years I went to there was a good music program there.
Okay, what school?
It's called Middle Tennessee State University.
Oh, I know that school.
Yeah, MTSU. Yeah.
That's near Nashville, right?
Yeah.
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 Very cool.
It's
And then you transferred to Roosevelt?
Yes.
Got it. And then after that, Northwestern. Okay.
Yeah.
And did you want to get your doctorates in musical arts?
I thought about it, but also I was done. I was ready to work.
That's difficult. But then you become a college professor and teach at a university.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a different job. But wow, that seems so hard to get a doctorate in music. Like, how much? What would be the next step after a master's? As far as like, what is the focus for those next couple of years? Do you just pick one subject? Do you write a thesis on it? A dissertation? How does it work?
Yeah, a lot of writing for sure. Depends on. Yeah, if it's the doctoral of musical arts, then depends on what you pick. If it was a performance focus, then it's gonna be a lot of recitals.
Yeah,
a lot of recitals, a lot of performance, a lot of collaboration with other musicians. Mostly performance, not as much writing. But if you focus on music theory or music history, it's gonna be a research job. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I got lost too. I was like, after my master's, like, I'm good because I don't know. I'm way more of a creative thinker and an artist, and I just don't need to go into research. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
I'd rather keep producing and making content.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you live in Chicago. You have a gazillion jobs, and you teach, you perform. What has been the biggest show you've ever played as a performer? Like the most people there, the most capacity.
Right. So with the Samba band, once a year we have a carnival event.
That's cool.
Yeah. Biggest, I don't know if that's the biggest, but Logan Square Auditorium. Yeah, they used to like really pack the auditorium.
So you played there?
Really there, yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, I also played what is it called?
Hard rock?
Hard rock too, but blues, House of Blues. Yeah, that was also pretty big too.
That's a cool
I guess
spot.
one of those, yeah.
Do you prefer bigger concerts or do you like the smaller like dive bars?
I like medium. Yeah.
A place where people will be packed.
Yeah. It's like you can really connect with them. It's like it feels nice to have so many people cheering at you, and it's fun once in a while. But I also like to connect with the audience, and I can see everyone's face and. Yes, medium. Yeah, like not too small. Then I'm like, I don't know. I'm awkward person, so like I can't talk and high. Like, yeah.
I don't think you're that awkward. I think it might be the loss in translation because you're speaking a second language that you learned as an adult.
Yeah.
But that movie is one of my favorite movies. Lost in Translation.
Yeah.
When Bill Murray goes to Japan. You've seen it before?
I have not. I know about that.
Check it out.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. It's so funny.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful movie. But it's probably just that. Anybody I know that is foreign to this country or speaks English as a second language, learned it much later with an accent, it kind of can force you to just be inward because you're like, you have a communication breakdown. You can't fully be out there and speaking and where people can always understand you, you know?
Yeah.
And then also if you're naturally introverted with that, then before you know it, it's like, I feel awkward.
I guess, yeah.
You know? Is that how you feel?
Sometimes, yeah. Like talking is my thing in the other show. Yeah. Also, like, it doesn't help that I'm a pianist. I'm always sitting facing my piano.
Yeah.
And usually it's the singer or the like front instrument, horn instruments, or the string instruments. Like those, they do the talking. They already have a mic.
Yeah.
So that's their job. They talk. They play.
You get good at it too. Like when you are the front person, you're the singer. It takes time to get good at being that job, like being the front person, talking in between songs.
Yeah.
While everyone else is tuning or taking a drink, they're speaking. And if you don't ever do that because your whole life you've just been playing piano, then you never even honed in on that skill of like talking in front of people.
Yeah, I remember like my senior recital or graduate, like there was recital, like Hana Fujisaki recital. That was the first one. I had to talk. And I had to like type it in everything to like practice.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was really nervous about that. Like
Yeah.
playing, it's okay. I never get nervous playing.
Not
piano.
anymore, no.
No. But speaking, that's what I practice more.
So if you were playing a set
Yeah.
and someone was like, between a song they asked you to say something, you'd get really nervous.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and then I'm not always facing the audience too.
Yeah.
Or even if I have something to look at. You know. Yeah.
You do look like you're having a blast when you're playing piano.
I do.
You're making faces and you're like into it.
Yes.
good,
That's
though.
my body, you know, like
Yeah.
I'm comfortable.
You feel
with
very
that.
comfortable there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel the same with when I play guitar.
Yeah.
I get lost in it. I don't even realize that I'm like making faces. I'm not even looking. My eyes are closed.
Yes,
You're like transcending. It's weird. It's a weird place. It's hard to explain, you know.
It was interesting watching the videos of myself playing. It's like, oh, I never knew I was making that face, and yeah, yeah.
Do you where do you see yourself going with music? I mean, you're only 28, but
Yeah.
what do you want to happen musically over the next 10 years?
So I work with a lot of different someone else's bands right now. So yeah, I do want to have my own project where someone plays my music instead of the other way around. So I do want to make an album. Yeah, in the next 10 years at least. Yeah, like, hopefully not 10 years, like a little less.
Like
In
5, 3
next
years.
couple of years. Yeah.
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 Would it be under your name?
Yes. Yes.
And then so just an album, that's it, nothing else?
And I want to keep teaching. I know a lot of people want to quit teaching. Like that's their dream to just play music. But I never want to quit teaching. I don't. That kind of became my passion over the couple of years. And
Yeah.
So I want to be, and I like being called Professor Fujisaki, and I like that. You know. Yeah.
That does sound cool.
Yeah. You know,
It's a weird thing when you're first called that.
It is really weird. And they're not too much younger than me. Some of them it's a community college, so some of them are older than me. But they still email me like, dear Professor Fujisaki,
Yeah.
here's the assignment.
It's weird.
Yeah.
When I was 28, I was your age when I first became a college professor.
Yeah.
And when the first email I received, it was like 2 weeks before the semester started. And it just said like, hello, Professor Arguelles. And I was just like, I was sitting at that kitchen table drinking coffee, and I'm like, whoa, what is going on? Like,
Yeah.
Never thought I would have this job, let alone be called that. It was very surreal. So
Very, yeah.
yeah, and then you kind of get used to it, but I don't know. It's always a strange thing.
And it's strange.
It's like being called a professional and expert. I'm like, I don't.
Exactly, yeah.
Because if you're called professor something, it's implying that you're the professional at that subject. So it comes with a weird weight when you're young. I think when the older you get, the more you get used to it. But when you're young, it's strange to
Very
be
strange.
younger
Yeah.
than some of these
Yeah,
students.
Yes.
And they're calling you this like prestigious title.
Yeah.
And you're like, huh, this is so weird. What world do I live in? But
Also,
you worked hard for it,
Yeah.
You have the experience and the college degree to go along with it. So
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I have like I'm qualified for it, but also I don't look too much different from them too. Like, and yeah, it's like usually first class I go, they don't recognize me as a teacher.
yeah,
And
you do seem pretty young. I at least look a little older.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably know, you know my age now, but I've always gotten much older because of the beard.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good thing, As a professor, it's a good thing. They tend to respect someone with the white hair more than someone like me. It's true.
You think so? You don't get respected a lot?
I do. I automatically do just because I'm a teacher and I'm talking to them in a teaching manner. But still, like first class, they don't recognize me as a teacher. I come in and until I start talking, hi everyone, my name is, like, they're like, oh, wait, she was a teacher?
Yeah, that when I was in graduate school at the Art Institute, that happened a couple times when I walked in the class and students looked at me thinking I was the professor and they're just like waiting for me to, they're like, why is he sitting with us? I thought I was playing like a joke. I'm like, why is everyone looking at me? That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. So you don't ever want to try to teach at like a 4-year university, or do you like staying at the community college?
I thought about it, but I also like teaching at it's been only a couple of years, so I like teaching at a community college in a way. I get to teach students that have never had access to. They learn much. And and a lot of them they pay for themselves to be there. And they're truly passionate about the subject. And at a 4-year college, I know there are students that are not as passionate. Like, the parents pay all the money, and I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. My parents helped me out a lot. So I was one of them. But community college, it's
that's like, this is how I know, because I did this too.
I did this.
I know exactly what you're saying. I really do. I know a lot of people who went to really good schools. On the spectrum of they got there through their own merit and academics and their parents can help them. And then I know those who their parents did everything, paid all 4 years, their housing, commuting, food, they gave them a credit card, like everything.
Yeah, sure.
Those people tend to bother me, but we're not. No, I'm kidding. As long as they're aware of it, it doesn't bother me. Right. But if you're not aware of the help you've been given, then that's very frustrating.
Yeah.
And then there's those who have nothing and their parents aren't even around. So,
teaching there made me realize too. I guess I knew that. I knew that I was very lucky to have this opportunity, but also it somewhat took it granted. I never thought of having a job and going to school at the same time. But a lot of my students do that, and it's really inspiring in a way.
It's hard.
Yeah, but they work hard to be here to learn.
It helps you appreciate education a lot more when you're working a job and commuting and going to school. Like, that's what I did, and it's very difficult. Whenever someone's like, I just went to school, it blows my mind. Like, to just focus on school, I'm like, no wonder why you did so well. All you had to do was go to class.
Yes, yeah.
It's like, there's so much time in a week. Yeah, I try not to get jealous or envious of people who had that experience, because I certainly did not. But I always try to keep the perspective of, like, others had it worse than me, and it's no one's fault that someone else had it better. It's just the way it is. But as long as those people are wearing, like you, that's great. To like, wow, like, I was fortunate, so I'm gonna take that fortune and help others. Which is what you're doing. So that's great. Yeah. The school I work at is a similar situation. It's not a community college, but it has a lot of kids who come from lower income or more difficult living situations. So I really can sympathize and relate and help them. And also it has kids across the spectrum, but not nearly as spoiled as, like, Northwestern. That's a different type of school. Yeah, it is. And that's okay. It just is. But my students certainly don't come from that world. Yeah, and it helps me. I like that a lot more, knowing that they're more down to earth. They have to work. They're delivering pizzas on the weekends, and they're doing what they can, and they're doing freelance work. They're trying to work gigs, because there are a lot of them are in the music and audio production world. So they're trying to, like, play shows and work gigs while they're going to school. So it's cool to see that part of it.
Yeah, like, what I'm doing now after school, juggling job, and, like, they are doing it while they are studying and working for the degree. That's
So two sides of the same coin. Like, you're teaching the classes, doing a bunch of other jobs, and they're taking the classes, doing a bunch of other jobs. So you can always meet them in a place where, like, hey, I get it. I'm tired too. Like,
oh yeah, I definitely get it. Yeah, I make like, my students are, like, in a way, best friends. Like, we have a good connection, and like, we work pretty closely with each other throughout the semester. We talk about music a lot, and especially in college. We get to talk more about music and life, and So
it's nice.
It's nice to
more
meet.
Mature.
Meet different type of students coming from different background.
Especially in Chicago. I mean, Harold Washington Harold Washington University or college.
College, yeah.
You're getting a ton of students from different backgrounds.
Yes.
A lot. I had some friends who went there that lived on the south side, the north side, the west side, from everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And do you, when do you finish your semester? Because right now, what day is it? December, it's 11:45. So what time do you, December? I said the time, I'm out of it. I'm like, it's 11:45. It's December 6th. When do you finish your semester?
December 17th, the last day. So two more weeks.
Okay.
1 more week, yeah.
I finished on Friday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Already?
So,
nice.
my grades, I have this week, I'm going to grade all the final projects. But other than that, I'm done with classes.
Really? Oh, that's a long. Oh, man, lucky you.
And it's a 5 week break.
5 week, that's great.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But that's university breaks. You know, they can be kind of big.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, it's a college, but we go until 17. I guess it's a city college, so they go with the city, Chicago, public school. Calendar.
17 weeks, right?
16 weeks.
16 weeks. 16 weeks, and then a week of finals.
Yes. Including final. Also, I guess 15 plus final.
Okay. Did you start after Labor Day?
Yeah.
Oh, that explains it. See, I started the second week of August.
Yes. Yeah.
So I started 2 weeks earlier, so that makes sense. Then.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
So what else is new?
Let's see.
We went through a bunch of music stuff. Is there anything else going on in life?
Mostly music. we can go on with the music more.
We can go. We can keep doing that. I can talk about music forever.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Strange. It's December 6th today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with Studio Ghibli?
Studio Ghibli?
Ghibli, like Ghi, Ghibli. Studio Ghibli. It's an animation company in Japan.
Okay.
Do you know the movie Spirited Away?
Yeah.
So that's from that. Have you heard of My Neighbor Totoro?
No.
Yeah, Howl's Moving Castle.
I've heard of Howl's Moving Castle.
Those animations all come from that Studio Ghibli. And there's one composer that writes all the music for all the movies. And his name is Joe Hisaishi, and it's his birthday today. So,
okay.
And Spotify does the annual wrap up, right? So my number one composer was him. So
nice.
That's another passion of mine. Studio, anime soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
Make movie soundtrack. Yeah.
You should make one.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
I'm very naive to a lot of animation. I don't know much of it. I've seen some of those classic Japanese ones, like Howl's Moving Castle, Spirited Away, Ghost in the Shell. I think one more, but I haven't seen many. And I've been wanting to because I've always heard such great things about them, you know?
Yeah. It's very different from, live action movies. Yeah, very, I don't know. You have to watch it too, really, get it. Something really beautiful and subtle about those, especially those Studio Ghibli movies. Made by Hayao Miyazaki. That's the director's name. But a lot of that is the music too. Joe Hisaishi, his music style is really specific, and that's what I grew up with. So it's funny, looking at the Spotify thing. Yeah, I know, a lot of musicians complain about it because it's Spotify is not necessarily the best company to listen to music too, but
to give the musicians money,
right?
Right.
Yeah. But it was funny to see number one is him, and then all 2, 3, 4, 5 is all jazz. But one is number one is always that. Yeah.
How many minutes did you listen to? Do you remember?
Yeah, 9,000 something. Yeah.
Mine was ridiculous.
I saw that. That's crazy. That is crazy. I saw that. I calculated. So that means no, I went to calculate how many minutes is 1 year.
You typed that into your calculator. How many minutes is 1 year? I don't think calculators work that way. Yeah, for those listening, what Hana's laughing at is 112,000 minutes I listened to Spotify. I was in the top 99 percentile of the country.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I'm not 100%? I'm not the number one? I'm like, who has me beat? I think it's 6 or 7 hours every day or something.
Every single day, yeah.
So there's a reason why. First of all, I listen to a lot of music pretty much all day, every day. But my laptop that has Spotify on and I control from my phone, that one right there, I have it always hooked up to my sound system. And it's kind of like, I have a lot of friends that come through and we hang out a lot of little small parties, big parties. So it's always the main source of music. So that's always playing.
Right.
And then I drive 120 miles one way to ISU to teach.
Right.
That's a lot of music. That's hours and hours every time. And then when I'm working on stuff, when I work out, I go on 5-mile walks every day, and that's about an hour and 20 minutes. Listen to music that whole time. So before you know it, it starts to make sense. Like, man, listen to a lot of music.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if
I
they
guess,
count podcasts too. Because if they count podcasts, because I listen to podcasts on Spotify as well.
Oh, I think he does, yeah.
So,
yeah.
but that's more recently. I used to listen to it on Apple Podcasts, and now I've been using more Spotify. Only because it doesn't require data, whereas Apple Music, you're supposed to.
Right.
download.
Yes,
so
yes,
that
yes.
annoys me.
Right.
So I always go to Spotify. But yeah, I saw that number, and I was like,
Holy,
my God.
yeah. I did too, yeah.
I didn't realize how much it was until I saw other people posting their numbers, and theirs were like between 8 and 20,000.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And I was like, that seems more normal.
Yeah, I did that too. Yeah, it's like, I never imagined how many minutes I listened to, but yeah, I saw that in data. Okay, yeah, like $9,000 minutes, and then I saw other people's too. It's like, yeah, most of musicians, around like 12,000.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm a little less, but then I saw yours. That's crazy.
And you're like,
That
who
is
is this
crazy.
person?
Yeah.
He's got a problem. He must like music. I was like,
Yeah,
I guess I like
so,
music.
yeah.
I listen to a lot, and it's part of my life, but it's part of my job. Bands that are always reaching out to do sessions or play the fest, they're always sending me music. So I'm always listening to that and then listening to other things that are recommended and listening to other things that are adjacent. And it's just like part of it's like a hobby, life, passion, way of living. It's everything.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't help but always be listening to it. So it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. Do you listen to different music almost
Oh,
every day?
yeah.
Okay.
All different kinds of music.
Got it.
Like this morning I was listening to a podcast, but then I was listening to this Spanish singer. I don't know his name. That a person sent to me. I was listening to some jazz last night. I try to listen to different stuff all the time. I make playlists when I find stuff, add it to it, and then listen to that for a while. And then when I find songs within that place I really like, then I go listen to that whole record that's associated with it came off of.
Yeah.
And it's just like a massive web of saving music, sharing it. Whenever a friend puts on something cool, I have them send it to me. It's a great format for that. I don't really agree with how much they pay their streamer, like people who stream music, how much they pay the artist.
Yeah.
But I do love the way they have it set up, how you can like share stuff, like
Yeah.
stuff, send that, share this. It's really great, like a social media platform for
It is, yeah.
music, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It's helped me discover so much
Yeah,
music.
and it does, yeah. It makes they could make a playlist for you. And
Yeah, it's
so-
cool. It's really cool. And the fact you can make them private, share with a friend, make a collaborative playlist. It's really neat. I love all the ideas that have been coming out of Spotify. And
Yeah.
I mean, other companies do it too. I'm just,
Yeah.
since I use Spotify, that's the one I can relate to. I
Yeah, me
don't
too, yeah.
know how well Apple does it or Amazon or Google or Pandora, but I'm assuming it's probably similar in order to keep up with the competition.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. But I see on social medias everyone shares something with it through Spotify.
Yeah,
So,
Spotify
I
is
guess
the most popular one
Yeah,
for sure.
now it is. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Man, we're going. I'm trying to think of other things to talk about besides music.
Besides music, I know. Like, yeah, my life is 98% music. Yeah.
I don't know if you want to talk about it or not, but I noticed this scar. It's a really cool scar.
Oh, yeah. That's from when I was in kindergarten.
Really?
Yeah.
I keep
Long
seeing
time
it. I'm like,
ago.
I gotta know what that scar is about, but I hope it's not a bad story. I don't want to embarrass her, but
Well, yeah. it
I'm a
was-
fan of scars. I
scars.
have a big one from ear to ear on top
Ear
of my
to
head.
ear? What?
Yeah, I had a major surgery when I was a child.
Oh, okay.
So scars are nothing but a story to me. And when you have a massive one that's like, this as thick as your pinky and it goes 10 inches across your head, all their scars seem small and trivial. So I start to ask, like, oh, where'd you get that scar from? Like, I don't mean it like, please don't tell me this story that is traumatizing, but
Yeah.
I just think scars are fascinating because of having such a big one. So
Yeah, it was in kindergarten. I'd simply, what was that? In a athletic, like we were just running around and what is it called? The one with the bar?
monkey bars?
Is that what it's called? just like bar, and then we like turn on the bar, and I guess that's what it is.
Something like that.
Yeah,
At a playground.
Playground, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like 5 years old or something. Yeah, I was at the bar, and then I just my hand slipped.
Yeah. And you hit your eye?
Yeah.
Wow, you didn't.
Yeah.
It looks like you could have really hurt your eye because the scar is on your eyelid.
Yeah.
So it's like you could have hurt your eye really bad.
I don't remember as much, but I do remember like everyone screaming around me. Like apparently I was like really bloody.
Yeah. No, it looks like that cut you really bad.
Yeah. But yeah, I do remember like my teacher coming to me. It's like, what happened? You like what happened with this blood? And yeah, but yeah, I couldn't see myself. So like, and it didn't. I guess it hurt, but I don't remember that part really hurt. So I was just like, oh man, like I just slipped. But apparently I was really bloody, and everyone was like screaming. And, and after that, I went to I commuted to the doctor like almost every day. And,
Oh really?
Yeah.
Did you get stitches?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, like 5 stitches or something. Yeah. Yeah, I remember those information, but it's nothing traumatic to me. But it just I live with it.
I saw it. I was like, oh, it's a cool scar. I'm a fan of scars. I don't know.
Yeah,
It shows that you lived life. Things happen to you, and you moved on.
Yeah. It's like a Harry Potter thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's part of me.
Have you? So you said you want to do scores for a film, specifically like animation or any type of
any
film.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you have experience doing any of that?
I did actually. During grad school. So yeah, I had a chance to collaborate with the film director. So yeah, Northwestern has a great like film department, and I was a good friend with this Indian student, and he wrote something shorter, like 20 minutes movie. And yeah, he asked me to do the music. So yeah, I wrote the music and I also played for it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's something simple though, something with just piano and one string.
It's a whole nother way of playing music.
Very different. Yeah, very different. I actually struggle a lot.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's different. It's a different dynamic. It's like writing a song, playing someone else's song, improvising a song, and making a song to fit the mood, the dialogue, the editing, the cutting, and the pace of a movie.
Oh,
couldn't be more different. Those are all very different skill sets, and it's hard. They're not even really. The only thing they have in common is you're playing an instrument, you're playing music. But really, other than that, the approach is very different.
Yeah, and you have to be really like a minimalist in terms of music. So what he told me a lot is that's too much. That's too much. That's too emotional. That's too beautiful. That's people shouldn't be listening to music here. They should be like focusing on like her emotion.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just there to help like her. Emphasize the emotion, but I'm doing too much. Like the song shouldn't be too good. It sticks to people's ears too much. So yeah, that was my thing. To play something but more plain. That was my challenge for that specific project.
That's cool. I've always wanted to make scores for films too. I'm a big fan of making like ambient, ethereal, weird sounds and whatnot.
I can see that.
Suspense dramas, thrillers, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, yes. Oh yeah, that's always fun too. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, also I wrote some songs for those films, but sometimes all he wants is like one note or like something dissonance. Like some weird distorted sound, and he's not a musician, so that's the way he describes something distorted, something scary, something creepy, and that's how I try to.
It's hard. It's hard working with non-musicians when they try to use musical or sonic language to describe something, because you realize there's not a lot of sonic language. Yeah. There's one. Actually, you'd be a good person to talk to about this. Try to think of a word, at least in English, that describes sound, but it's not a physical or visual word. I can only think of one. So like people usually describe it as like beautiful, soft, pitch, which these are all technically not just related to sound.
Right.
So the only one I could think of is timbre.
Right.
That's the only word that is for sound and music.
Yeah.
It's not associated with anything else. But when you say like, oh, it's really harsh, or it's really loud, or it's really dark, or it's really bright, or it's really brisk, or I want it to be a little bit more metallic. Like there's all these physical and visual words you use to describe a sonic experience. So it's really hard to do. And then when you work with someone that doesn't have musical or audio production training, it's extra hard because they have no idea how to even convey what it is that they want. They're like, I don't know, make it scary. And you're like, well, that could mean so many things.
So many things, yeah.
So many things.
Yeah.
It can mean an augmented chord. It can mean a diminished one. It can mean a minor one. You can even make it scary with major ones if you do it right. Like, there's a lot of ways to make something scary, you know?
So many. And yeah, like when I sent him like the sample music, I like this song, let's use this song. And then once we put it together, it doesn't match at all. So he didn't know that, it wasn't gonna match, like, but just the song itself was really good. And then song and the actual scene just, it's really hard, yes. You don't know until you really tried it out.
Yeah.
So we had to change a lot of things. But yeah, I get that language thing. I had a hard time explaining to kids, that's too dry, that's too mushy. Like
yeah, dry. What do you mean? It's music. How's it dry? It's like once you know what that stuff means, you can understand it. But that language even takes years of experience. When someone says like, there's too much presence in this area. Like you and I could probably understand what that means and what they want. Or it's too bright, or it's too warm, or too mushy.
Yeah.
As an audio engineer, when someone's like, "Oh, the mix sounds cool," but like the bass and guitar and drums sound a little like mushy or too warm. It's like, okay, look, I know where to go in the frequencies to cut out and make it brighter.
Yeah,
but they don't know how to. They know like this is what it sounds like to me. Can you fix it based on what I just said? And it's tricky when you're doing when you're working with non-musicians. Like he was the director and like writer.
Yeah, very good director too. Yeah, he's back in India and writing for TV commercials.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Yeah. What is the film industry like in Japan? Because I know. America, we have Hollywood. It was in India, they have Bollywood. Is that what it is in India?
Yes, Bollywood, yeah.
Yeah, and Nigeria has a massive film industry, but I'm sure Europe has their own too. But I don't know, like, what's Japan's like? Do they have one?
Yeah, definitely anime. Anime is the
big thing. I thought so, but I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, always like a number one, number two, like all these like top list is all these animes.
And would you say like video games are big there?
Yeah,
that's because video PlayStation's from Sony and Sega Genesis. I mean, those are all Japanese companies, right? And Nintendo, right?
Oh yeah, Nintendo, definitely, yeah.
I'm so out of touch with video games. I haven't played in so long.
Right, I never grew up with them.
I grew up with them, but it's just like, for those listening, that was my belt making that sound. I just don't have like the time for them. And then when I do, this is not a slight against video games because I know how popular they are now, and you can study them, you can do game design for them, but when I do have that time, I want to put it towards something else. I just don't really gravitate towards playing video games, Yeah. Just isn't for me. I played, what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago? My friends were playing Grand Theft Auto 5 again, that video game. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't even know.
It's a ridiculous game. You literally go around like stealing cars and killing people.
A lot of video games.
It's a ridiculous game. But I was playing it for the first time in years, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, it's so addictive.
Is it? Okay.
Because you live in this. I mean, I played maybe 3 hours total. Not much. But you're like, you get to live in this immersive world. You could do whatever you want. And you get it almost feels like you're living an alternate reality. Because they're so nice now. These games are so well made. And this is on PlayStation 4. It's not even the newest PlayStation 5. So, but yeah, whenever I have time, I'm like, I'd rather read, listen, learn something from a podcast, cook something, go exercise, play music. I don't know. I just don't go towards video games when I have free time.
Me neither. I tried, whenever my friend recommend me to do something, like we might try. I also, I really suck at it. Like I'm not in control of anything. I just press buttons, so many buttons, and I'm never good at it. So I never got addicted to it, and I can't see myself being addicted to it. But same. I have other hobbies to do. I like to paint and draw a lot.
Really?
So that's
you paint?
Yeah.
I know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
How long have you been painting for?
My whole life. Yeah,
Really?
I loved it as a kid, and then during middle school, I was in an art club. Yeah, so just like how people have like sports after school, we had art after school every single day. So yeah, so that was like a art club, and then we did oil painting, all kinds of like sculpture and.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah.
What I would love to see your paintings. I didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have them online anywhere or anything, or is it very private?
Some I put some on Instagram. Yeah.
I like to see them.
Yeah.
That's cool. Do you sell them at all?
No. that's my. But yeah, my home, my apartment, like the whole wall is filled by that. Like one of the walls is all art, like painting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You have to send me a photo of that. I'd like to see that.
Okay, yeah.
That's cool. And you said, so painting, and you say drawing?
Drawing, yeah.
Cool. Which one do you gravitate towards more, painting or drawing?
I guess I draw more just because it's easier to, like carry around and that's something you can do anywhere. Yeah, but during COVID, of course, I picked up some paint to start doing that a lot. And I like colors, so I draw and then I might put colors on top of it.
Watercolor, pastel. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you do any oil-based paintings?
That was like what I was doing during middle school, oil painting. But it takes a lot of space, and you have to take care of a lot of things. It's like you have to take care of the smell, like open the window wide open, and it's a lot. It takes a lot to make an oil painting.
Yeah.
So I haven't done it.
I've been wanting to get into painting so badly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just haven't done it, but I want to. I feel the urge to like try it.
Have you been into art? Have you done that, or you?
I've never done any painting before.
Yeah. So you want to pick up.
The most art-related things I've done are music, sound art, a lot of poetry. Write a lot of poetry.
Yeah.
And honestly, just like I guess I would say, I like to build stuff and design stuff, like as far as architecture goes. But I've never really implemented it enough because I'm so focused in music, But it's definitely an idea and a passion of mine. I've always wanted to design my own cabins and build them.
Oh yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah.
But painting, no, never done any painting. I've always wanted to though. I mean, I took a couple art classes and did them then, but I haven't done them since. So.
Okay, you did go to art.
Maybe this winter. Winter. But I've realized I've become really good at facilitating spaces and places for creative people to have the freedom to do their thing, like this house, the festival, stuff like that.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, I've realized it's its own form of creativity.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's we need that. We need someone to do that.
Exactly.
we have a lot of music, but where do we present that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Olya sold her earrings and her jewelry at DZ Fest last year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you're up to selling stuff, you should sell it at the fest next
I might.
year.
Yeah.
You guys can have a booth next to each other.
Right.
Yeah, I love when people do many forms of art, not just one, but it almost seems like most people, once you have that creative spark, it starts to show up in other places. Maybe you like
definitely.
fashion, maybe you like food, maybe you like, I even get creative working out, I'm like, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that. I try to learn how to shape your body with nutrition and angles and cardio, it's its own thing. But
No, the food, it's an art form, definitely.
The culinary arts,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Did you have a weird, food shock coming from eating in Japan your whole life to Chicago?
Not shock, but so in a way my transition was a little too smooth. So I started, I totally became an American eating person.
No.
And that was
It's the
not
worst.
good.
It's the worst. It's the best, but it's the worst.
I gained 10 to 15 pounds. And
I'm not surprised that it wasn't more, because it's hard to stay thin if you eat an American diet.
Yeah, first 2 years I did a meal plan, and it was South Tennessee too, so they had all the Southern food at the cafeteria, the apple couplet, and pizza every day. And,
No. Luckily you were young.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot easier to work off the weight when you're 19, 20, 21. You know, you could be more active.
Yeah. But yeah, I still gained 10 pounds. But it was like, yes, yeah. But yeah, I know a lot of people struggle because the food is totally different. And some of them, lose weight because they can, digest the food is the same. But yeah, I never had a problem. So that was a problem. Like I became, I changed the habit and I became unhealthy. But yeah, I mean, naturally, I came back to the original weight after I started cooking myself and live off campus.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the food, the culture in Japan with food, and I feel like the relationship with it is very different from here.
Very different. Yeah.
Like, what were some of the traditional meals you grew up eating?
So I don't want to say, but definitely sushi. And
why don't you want to say?
I don't like everyone. It's like Japan sushi is like such a, I don't know, typical answer. And
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, in America, you could be like pizza, hot dogs, and hamburgers.
Sure, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I wish I could say something they've never heard of or something.
Sushi is amazing.
Sushi is amazing.
So good.
And yeah, I wish everyone knows the sushi from Japan. Like a lot of my American friends, they don't like sushi, or like sushi messes up their stomach or something. And it's because they don't eat the correct one. If they know the sushi from Japan, and it just.
What is the sushi from Japan? Like, what does that entail?
Very fresh and very different. I don't know.
Not bought at the store.
Right. No, from the store too. Like any grocery stores would have it, and
it's just made very fresh that day at the grocery store.
I guess that's what it is. Yeah, and location-wise too. I guess California, like somewhere place near the coast would have better fish, but Chicago just doesn't have good. Yeah.
No, I think for Chicago to have good sushi, you have to pay a lot of money. Because that means it might be they're flying the fish in fresh on ice, like from the day before or something. And then you might end up paying a lot of money just to eat some sushi.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not that expensive in Japan because it's such a normal thing, right?
It's like a fast food to us. Yeah. Like
but if you wanted to have like really good sushi in Chicago, you might have to pay, $50.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is just too much money to eat some small, it's not even that much food. Like, it's not a lot. I haven't had that much sushi. I would love to have it more. I've always really been intrigued by different diets from different cultures, and more specifically fish. And so a lot of Southeast Asians and East Asian countries, because of fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
you like fish?
I love fish.
Good, yeah.
I love fish. Fish is, if I had to pick a meat to eat, because I don't eat much meat anymore, but if I did, it'd be fish. Yeah, I mean, a steak is great, but it's not sustainable to just have steak all the time.
No, not all the time, yeah. No. I do love it, but...
Yeah, I mean, steak's amazing, especially a good one, but it's more like once a month I'll have like a big steak,
Yeah.
Not often.
Yeah. In Japan, like fish, it's everyday food. And growing up, I was told to eat fish at least once a day. Instead of meat, switch up to, if you have meat in lunch, have a fish for dinner. Like at least one meal should be fish.
It seems like a healthier society. And like they're not as obese as Americans.
Right. Yeah. Food. What is it called? The Japanese food was set as a UNESCO. Yeah. I think one of the first countries to win the UNESCO heritage as a food. Yeah, Japanese food, I think French food. I think there are only 3 or 4 countries that are set as a world heritage.
Yeah.
And the Japanese food is one of them.
We should learn from it.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever I look at footage of people in Japan, unless they're not showing people who have eaten too much, but everyone looks very thin. Everyone looks very not that big, not too small. Even when you look at the average age of someone who dies, they're older in Japan. People live longer. I mean, there's a correlation in your diet and
definitely,
age.
Yeah.
There is.
No, we live long for a reason too. Yeah.
Not anymore, though. You moved to America.
But now I actually cook Asian food because I live in Uptown, which is a Vietnamese area. So I I buy Asian. Probably I go to Asian grocery stores. And
Really? That's cool.
I cook with soy sauce mostly. So
I'm jealous. I've been fortunate enough to have a couple circumstances where I got to cook like real authentic Asian food, Indian food, Japanese food, and I love it. And I want to go back. I want to learn more and eat more of it. I just don't. It takes time to learn another cuisine, to be familiar with all the basic stuff that they seem to use. And you got to make an active effort to do it. So that's my goal this winter, get more into Japanese cooking and Asian cooking.
Yeah.
Maybe you can give me some pointers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm very curious. It's first of all, it's delicious. I love the combinations of spices and different foods. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm just tired and used to American cooking and I just want something different. But we don't really have a traditional style. It's like I grew up eating a lot of Mexican food. My dad's Mexican, so I had a lot of traditional Mexican food.
Oh, yeah. I love Mexican food.
Which is amazing. It's great.
Yeah.
And, obviously your classic Italian food, spaghettis and fettuccine and lasagna. But that stuff's so hard to eat. It's too much carbs, too much breading, too much noodles. It's too much. I like the like a little bit less of the carbs, a little bit less rice, a little bit less of the noodles, and more vegetables.
Yeah. Me too, actually. Yeah, I'm getting to that. I used to love rice, but now, like my body reacts differently. Yeah.
The older you get, it's too much. It's too filling, and there's not enough nutrition that comes from rice.
Yeah.
It's fine, but it's really of a filler within everything as a carbohydrate. There's not enough nutrition that comes from it.
Right.
It's a good little bit of it's fine, I think.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
But just a big bowl of rice. I'd rather have like a small rice, more vegetables.
Yeah, more vegetables. Yeah, like I crave more vegetables. And I used to love sweets. And right now, like some sugar, like that's too much sugar. I can't take it.
No more sugar.
Yeah.
I don't like sugar at all. Like I could do without it for a long time.
Really?
Now, I don't really consume sugar anymore. When I do, it messes me up. It makes me feel so bad. Like, it's great in the moment when you eat ice cream, and then I'm like, afterwards, you're like, this is so heavy. I can't believe I used to eat this all the time.
Yeah.
Or sodas. Like, I don't drink sodas or anything anymore.
Yeah, like, really, your taste changes every couple of years.
With age, it changes. And then if you start to take it out of your diet, once you bring it back in, your body and your taste buds and your brain have changed to the new diet. And now that I've been eating mostly like vegan food and vegetables, it's now going back to like sugars and carbohydrates and meats. It can be hard. But even meat, like I'll have meat usually once a week on like a weekend.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. It's like I love meat, so
I do too, but I'm like, it's not sustainable to always have it. It costs more money.
Yeah.
I start to feel a bit more clean and better when I eat more vegetables and fruits and nuts. And then it makes me appreciate the meat more when I do have it.
Makes sense.
If I do have chicken or pork or a steak on like a Saturday, it's like amazing. It tastes like heaven.
I guess
I'm like, I miss this so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I know the major missing thing. Like, Japanese food. I never knew the feeling of missing it. But now that I miss it so much, whenever I have ramen or sushi, it tastes amazing, like extra amazing.
Ramen.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah,
that's what I need to get into. I had ramen last week at this restaurant, and it was great. But it was like it's like a family restaurant in the suburbs. It's not that authentic, It's like it was good, but I want to go to like an authentic ramen place. Do you know any in the city?
Not in the city. There's one in Mecca, or it's north suburb. But
Wilmette?
Yeah, it's called Torino. I think that's owned by a Japanese owner.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've only heard of one or two in the whole city that are like really authentic.
Yeah.
Like Japanese owner from Japan.
Right.
It here. Yeah.
Yeah, not too many.
Do you make it? You make it at home?
I do. Yeah.
You have to show me a recipe. I would love to try it. Because there's so much that goes into it. It's not as simple as
it's not
like the classic package I grew up eating.
Right.
I grew up eating those cheap ramen 50-cent packages.
No.
Oh, well, you just throw it in there, take the packet, shake it. So gross. They're not good at all. What is that powder? What is that powder? Is that supposed to be like broth, like bone? Like
yeah, I guess the broth. But
it's kind of gross.
No, it is.
And like the ones that were the styrofoam cup you put in the microwave and you just heats up and it has like corn and bean or green bean and carrot. Those are gross.
No, those are typical college food.
Yeah, like it was like 12-year-old food, college food.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even own a microwave. I threw it out, so I would.
Oh, I don't either. Yeah.
I realize there's nothing I eat that requires it because I don't eat microwaved food anymore. And I don't eat leftovers because whatever I cook, I finish. And if I really want to heat it up, I'll put it on the stove.
Yeah, stove, that's better. Anyways,
It tastes better.
Much better.
Microwave doesn't taste very good when you reheat it.
No.
Unless there's a lot of water in it, like a soup, that doesn't really matter in a microwave. But when you want to reheat food, like solid food, it doesn't really work out well in a microwave.
Yeah.
Kind of gross. My friends made fun of me so much for getting rid of the microwave.
Oh.
They're like, "Why'd you do that?" I was like, "Because I don't use it. No one uses it. It was a waste of space, and I just don't like them. I don't know. I'm not a fan of microwaves."
Yeah, you got rid of it. I wouldn't do that, but I never had it in my apartment. So yeah, I never thought of buying it either. So yeah, and and in Europe, in certain countries they just don't have microwave. And
You realize you don't really need one,
yeah.
unless you're making microwaved food, which is then that's a whole nother habit. Like I don't buy anything frozen anymore.
Right.
Like I don't even need a freezer anymore.
Yeah. Oh, you don't. Oh, okay,
I don't even everything I buy is fresh. It's all fresh vegetables and fruits.
That's
So
that's the
and
best
like
way.
if I buy meat, it's fresh because I want to eat it like that day or the day after. So I don't want to throw it in the freezer. I don't know. I'm weird, I guess.
No, that's the best way to eat it, but
Yeah.
it's hard to do it.
I know.
think you're working, 20 jobs.
Yeah. I definitely am very serious with the diet thing now because in order to sustain the crazy schedule,
Yeah.
the 20 jobs and all the stress that comes with it, you almost need to have you need to be working on the most efficient fuel. So you need to eat really well, sleep well. Otherwise, doing all these different jobs, it's impossible to juggle. You start to crash and get tired. You don't have the stamina to get through it because you're not eating well, you're not sleeping well. So I'd rather invest time and money and be very particular with my food so I can have a healthy, balanced life so I can do all the other stuff
Makes
and
sense,
sustain it, That's where I'm at. But it took me a long time to get to this. This is a COVID thing. I learned this through COVID.
Yeah.
Learned a
definitely.
lot.
Yeah, age thing, and COVID too. Yeah, COVID also taught me to cook before I
Yes.
didn't cook. Yeah, I never invested the time to cook. I never. Yeah, but then during COVID, I'm home anyway, so yeah, I started cooking. And ramen, I never made ramen before, but yeah, I looked it up and got those ingredients, different spice, and yeah.
I'm going to do that this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm going to make some ramen this weekend. I'll let you know how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what's the main broth you use? Is it chicken, beef, pork?
Pork, I guess that's the most
Pork.
common one.
That's the most common one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What time is it? How long have we been talking for? I think we're almost at 2 hours.
2 hours already?
I told you. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
You were like, I don't think I can do 10 minutes.
10 minutes. No, first, you said podcast, interviews, okay, 30, 40 minutes. Usually the podcast I listen to, each episode's 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, I can do that, Yeah.
And then I was like, can you do 2 to 4 hours? And you were like,
Wait.
I know. I always get nervous when I have to ask someone that because I feel like some good stuff comes out once you go further and further. And you start to get to know somebody,
Yeah.
But then sometimes people just don't have it in them to keep going. They're tired. It's just not their personality to talk that long. I've had people where, when Thaddeus Tukes was on here, he's such a talker. He's such an outgoing person that he did most of the talking. We went for 3 hours and 30 minutes before I even realized it.
Oh,
you
wow.
know? So everyone is very different. I've had people I feel like I was pulling teeth and they just did not want to talk. I'm like, oh, man. So it's all over the place. But I like not having rules. I just like to throw it out there. Can you speak for 2 to 4 hours? I just don't want it to go 4 hours and be I had things to do. I had to catch a bus.
Right.
You still have to catch a bus.
Yeah?
Or an Uber or whatever that you're taking,
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything else you want to promote? Music, bands, websites, anything coming up that you want to promote?
Well, I guess we've been working on Orihana project.
That's next week. You're coming
next
back
week,
in.
yeah. But yeah, we did a recording already. And we've been posting on Instagram and YouTube. Yeah, we have a YouTube channel. It's called Orihana. Orihana. It's with the violin, amazing violinist, Olya Prohorova. Just me and her duo. playing a cover of Japanese songs.
Yeah.
And everyone would think that it's my idea to start this band, but it's her idea.
Of course.
She is the more passionate one to play Japanese cover. She knows way more songs.
That's so
So
funny.
she suggests most of the songs. I do too, but like more than half of our playlist is by her, edited by her, and she watches more animes too. So yeah.
And is it Hana or Hannah?
Hana,
Hana.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. I just want to make sure.
Yeah. And I don't really correct people when they say Hana. It's fine, but it's Hana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a more Asian way of saying it.
Yeah.
I think it is. Yeah.
Very phonetic.
Mhm.
That's what,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anything else you want to promote?
That's it for now, I think. Yeah.
Until next time.
Until next time. Yeah, sounds good.
Well, Hana, thank you so much for being here and for
course.
talking about music and your life and
Thank you.
food in Japan.
Yes.
Now
I'm hungry.
I
Yeah.
know, right?
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing. It's really amazing. All the musical endeavors you juggle, the teaching. I'm sure you're a phenomenal teacher. The choir, the church music, the 4 bands. You should do some scores, and
Yes,
then I keep up with the painting and drawing. All great things.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll see you soon.
See you soon. Sounds good.
Bye.